Back in March, I saw a documentary slated to be released on the plight of white farmers in South Africa called Farmlands. And the documentary was high quality, it was action-packed, it looked like a Vice field piece, but this time, the subject was white genocide, so you know it's full of shit. And this film was part of the international white nationalist propaganda effort on the internet, and it took a very controversial issue like land reappropriation in post-apartheid South Africa, which already has extremely high rates of violence and racism, and turn it into agitated propaganda. So naturally, Tucker would take on this cause since, you know, he's the most mainstream representative of white nationalist fascists.
The president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has begun seizing land from his own citizens without compensation because they have the wrong skin color.
And now our president is repeating this white nationalist nonsense because he saw it on Tucker Carlson, because that's the world we live in. But let's talk about the facts. First of all, South Africa is the only country with a worse record than the U.S. when it comes to white colonization and racism, since they held on to a system of legalized segregation called apartheid until 1994. And as a result of this racist system, more than 70% of the population was crammed into 13% of the shittiest land. And even after the apartheid officially ended, white colonizers still owned 90% of the land, despite making only 10% of the population. And by 2017, 25 years after failed land reform, after the apartheid was over, white people still owned 72% of the land. So when Tucker talks about land seizures without mentioning the fact that black people previously owned that land, well,
that is literally the definition of racism.
Now, according to Tucker, the South African government trying to bring some sort of justice after centuries of colonization, rapes, violence, and discrimination in a majority black country is the literal definition of racism. It's not the brutal systemic disenfranchisement of black people in their own country. That's just normal stuff. Trying to correct that problem now, that's what really grinds my gears. So in 2016, the South African parliament passed an expropriation bill to nationalize farmland with fair compensation to white owners. But then, bowing to public pressure and more radical groups in 2017, the parliament passed a constitutional amendment that turned this process into seizures of land without compensation. And uncompensation expropriation has led to serious economic collapses in neighboring Zimbabwe after foreign investors fled the market, which is why this type of forcible uncompensated land seizure is a bad policy, but it's not white genocide. And then the targeted violence against whites idea is also ridiculous, considering that the murder rate in South Africa has declined sharply since the apartheid ended, and even now, white people are much less likely to be murdered. And while accurate figures on this are notoriously difficult to discern, not dissimilar to the United States, one of the most comprehensive studies on the murder rates was conducted in 2000.
So you always hear them crying, saying that, oh, in South Africa, oh, the black peoples, they trying to get us Boers, they trying to get the Boers, they trying to just take us out, they trying to do this. And I've been in South Africa, my brothers and sisters ain't worried with the Boers like that. They really not. They are out there trying to live their life, they trying to get jobs, they just trying to just do their thing. I'm telling you, I've seen it. You know, the few times I have been in South Africa, they ain't worried about the Boers unless the Boers come around them being racist, right? There's no time they really gonna deal with them. But they've been putting out this lie that black people in South Africa, oh, they just want to just hurt and harm them, and oh, they just want to escape. So you had this guy that really believed that. He believed that, oh, I got to save the Boers. And then, boy, he brought the Boers to the United States, and oh, boy, he got a rude awakening of who them Boers really are. That's what I wrote.
Due to the white genocide, I am not going to let a white group of people suffer and not help them because I've been bullied into not giving. That ain't me. Wrong dude. Don't care. These people want to be Americans. They don't want to be South Africans anymore because that country was given over the minute Communist Mandela was let out of prison. They're going to live in my house, and I'm going to feed them and take care of them.
Suffice to say that I got involved in the abuse of the minority white race in South Africa a couple of years ago. Got heavily involved. Ultimately ended up sponsoring a family of 4 and helped facilitate them from Africa. And obviously, it turned out bad. They did play me. And they admit, in fact, that was one of the things they said was they're bragging about how they played me like a sport game. I spent over $30,000 in that 11 months in money and fed and clothed them. So I might be stupid enough to have fallen for that because I thought with my heart instead of my head. You know what? They cost me a lot of money when they were here, suck and parasite and use people, and then when they're done, they just, you know, go on to the next. When they talk to me, it's like, hey, we're a good family, we own a business, and we're hardworking people, and you know, when we get to America, you know, the way we'll pay the rent will be we'll work for you guys, you know. All right. If anything, we had to work 10 times as hard just to take care of these people. I mean, in 11 months, I got my grass cut 3 times. One time ended up being in a huge argument. Everything free, lay around, watch TV, and watch movies for 11 months and change.
Yes, well, as I said to you, we have an election coming up, and there's tremendous tension throughout the country. The Economic Freedom Fighters Marxist Party, the one that has spoken at various times about killing whites and so on and so forth, they used to sing a song called Kill the Farmer, Kill the Boer. They were taken to court repeatedly, and so they had to stop singing. So what they sing now, very much ironically, of course, is Kiss the Farmer, Kiss the Boer, brr, brr, ba, ba, brr, brr, ba, ba. The implications, and this is part of their election campaign. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is the madness that we live in. And on top of that, we have a situation now where the water scientists have been warning for about 10 years that our water infrastructure is on the very verge of crumbling spectacularly. There's a consensus between them that it would take, due to the fact that no money has been invested by the communists for the past 25 years in that infrastructure, that it would take $3 trillion to fix it. Our entire GDP is just about $1 trillion. So there is no way that it can be repaired. So therefore, on top of everything else, we're staring this massive cholera crisis in the eye.
So we're looking at unemployment of 38%. Again, you're in great.
Well, do you believe a white man can defend you? Then you don't know what's happened in the past 350 years. Then you don't know what has happened in the past 500 years. Do you really believe any white man can defend black interests? If they did, they would have given us better land. They would have said they're so about it. They don't say so. They're not giving better land. They continue to enjoy the benefits of oppressing us. And you want to put your faith in such a person. You're very brave, my brother. Or you're very, shall we say, not so smart. But, Kandila, what happened to you? I've always been the consciousness. People chased them out from Sasso and had a black-only organization because he understood every single white person in this country is a beneficiary of colonialism, apartheid, and land dispossession. The shocking thing is this. Why has white people not actually come out and said, we are sorry about what we've done? But not only that, let us share the world that we stole from you.
Hannes, Peter Bruce, Sam Soul, Andren Basson, Stephen Crotters, Max Dupree, Barry Bateman, Alec Hawke. These are the targeted journalists who are on the BLF radar. Okay, Hannes, still...
Yeah, I think I'll give you... Yeah, go ahead. If I may, you know, Babawu at this point in time has got about 80% black membership. I'm every day, every second day, almost MI.
I think to come to terms with exactly who we are as a country. We're a country that is built on racism, on cheap labor, on sexism, on patriarchy.
In sentencing the two men, the judge said they showed no remorse. Their prison sentences should send a message to others that this kind of behavior will be punished, and punished severely.